In this video that I'm recording as of now, I'm going to try to attempt to tell some of my viewers who may be Hillary supporters or Trump supporters why I'm not supporting either candidate in the general election. Reason number one, my principles mean more to me than me selling out. So basically, that's plain simple. I don't need to go into explanation, but if you want an explanation, I'll give you a quick one. When it comes to principles, what defines how a human thinks or how a human has certain beliefs or certain ideas towards a topic? It's principle. Well, we all have principles. We all have morals. But I find it funny, and Anna Kasparian pointed out pretty well during a Gun Turks video that politics is the only thing in America where you can sell out and no one looks down on you for selling out on your morals and principles. But if you don't have any morality or any principles, anything in anything but politics, you're looked down upon as a horrible human being. So I rather keep my morals and principles in check when it comes to politics and or not. Reason number two, what why I don't support Hillary or Trump is that both of them are fascists and both of them are racist and homophobic and yeah, both Hillary and Trump carry big baggage that I can't accept for any of them to be the president of the United States. For example, Hillary called black teen super predators who lived in inner cities because apparently inner city kids, regardless of their skin color, we're meant to be scared of because they live in poverty. I'm sorry, but everyone in this country at this point lives in poverty except for the super rich. If regardless of what your skin color is or what your sexuality is, if you're rich, you don't live in poverty. But if you're not rich, you're the working poor. So everyone lives in poverty. So why the hell would you tell the working poor to be afraid of their own kind? That makes no sense. And the other thing is that Trump says that we should ban all Muslims. Yeah, like banning all Iranians from America under Carter's presidency worked so well. We can't ban groups of people from coming to this country. Even though this country may not be the prettiest smelling flower in the world, at least it's still the land of golden opportunity for those people who want to have better lives here. And regarding homophobia, both Hillary and Trump strongly believe in a position where gay marriage should follow the Bible. Even though Hillary Clinton tries to appeal to the gay community by saying that we have the right to wed, while Mrs. Clinton, while that's flattering that you're trying to tell us that you strongly believe that we have the right to be married, why is it that in 2012 you still held that same position that gay marriage should only be as it is in the Bible, as an abomination, but straight marriage is okay because it's in the Bible? But yeah, in 2013, when it became politically savvy for you to jump on the bandwagon, you jumped on saying, I fully support gay rights. Well, that seems so disingenuous. I don't think even Ronald McDonald would even believe you. Um, and because no, here's the truth. The reason why I say that because there's a truth. The first guy who played Ronald McDonald was a drag queen. I'm not even kidding. Look it up. And the other thing is, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, came off as appealing originally when he said that, you shouldn't, check the genitals of transgender people when they're going into the bathroom because it will kill your business. And at first when he said that, I'm thinking, wow, a reasonable position that I could agree with Trump on. Because number one, for someone who's pretty much a poor businessman who has no idea what he's doing, I thought that was probably one of the smartest things he ever said regarding business. But yet, then he retracts after his base gets so pissy about it. and he retracts to saying, "Oh, we should pull down the pants of transgender people to make sure they're at the appropriate bathrooms." Yes, he actually said that in that way. He was doing it for ratings, of course, as he does everything else. But yeah, he basically wants to treat transgender people like there's some sort of freaks that should be in a freak show. Regarding everything else, well, the writing's on the wall. I mean, the records are online. I mean, they're not that much different at all. Um, the third reason, tops is well, for one thing, both of them would be disastrous for this country. And this is just proven economically by top economics of the New York Post, New York Times, and it's true. They've said that Hillary's economic positions are not good for this country, and they said that Trump would put this country in a worse depression than the Great Depression. I'm not kidding. Look it up. Seriously, look it up. The information's out there. These are from newspapers that have been pro-Hillary right from the get-go. They're even saying her economic policies aren't that great for this country. Um, and finally, the fourth one. And I don't think I need to go on after this. Finally, the fourth one is that as a young millennial, I don't want to be stuck with with America that has high student debt piled up on my people my age. I wouldn't want my children to be living in desperate poverty. I wouldn't want my sister's generation to live in desperate poverty because that's the direction we're heading in. That's the direction we're heading in. I mean, it's plain and simple. If you can't see that we're heading in that direction, I mean, we have more homeless veterans in this country than any other country in the world. We have more starving children in this country than any country in the world. We have more starving families in general in this country than any other country in the world. Um, we have, we have poverty up to sky high rates. Why? Well, because number one, the pay is lousy. Number two, people can't find jobs with the college degrees they have because either there's very limited positions in the job field that they got their degrees for, and or they can, they can't have a livable wage and they can't feed their families on the wages that they have. So we need a higher minimum wage. We need free college in big time. And what about the people who are massively sick and massively dying? What about the children in St. Jude's Children's Hospitals who are struggling with cancer every day and their parents are having a hard time paying the medical insurance because even though St. Jude's doesn't pay the parents for their children to be in the hospital, that's true. However, though, the parents have to pay the heavy price of the medical insurance that their child's in the hospital for, and they can't. So we need single payer health care. If it works for Canada, if it works for the UK, hell, if it works for Russia, and it does, I'm not kidding. Russia has single payer health care. If it works for these countries, works for this country. And we treat our citizens like shit on a daily basis. And yet we praise Obamacare will last forever. Well, I have news for you. It won't last forever. It's the better option we have, but it's not the best option. The best option would be single payer health care, but people are going to bitch and complain about paying a little more in taxes. Well, guess what? In a lot of these countries where they pay a little more in taxes, guess what? They get better services. They get much better services, better education, better health care, and better job pay. I mean, for Christ's sake, people who in these democratic socialist countries and Russia, even though they're not really democratic socialists, even though they have some democratic socialism to them, especially when it comes to jobs. if you look at how people are paid in Russia for doing a job, like just any job on a daily basis, they're paid really well, even for a lousy job. They're paid $11, $13. At tops, the best job's $20 an hour. Why is this good? Well, that's good because guess what? They're accumulating more disposable income so they're able to feed their families. Yes, so they can feed their families, so they can take care of themselves, so they can make sure their families don't go starving, or make sure their families aren't on the goddamn streets. I, if you want this country to flourish again, we have to accept that we have to take some of these democratic socialist policies in. If we don't do that, we have no more democracy. We're a complete bureaucratic society. We're a complete plutocracy society, or we're a little bit of both, which is scary enough. Because here's the scary thing about plutocracy and or a bureaucracy, because I'm not sure what America is, but it's somewhere in the middle. A bureaucracy gives the idea that you have freedom of choice, freedom of speech. However, though, but if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, these bureaucrats come after you and they basically reprimand you for using what your supposed freedom of speech. And a plutocracy is basically, if you don't think like everyone else, the most severe case is death, or the most minimal case is prison time for speaking your mind. And America's somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure where, but it's somewhere in the middle, and that scares the living shit out of me. We're not a democracy anymore. Jimmy Carter himself said that. We're not a democracy anymore. We're anything but a democracy. Hell, even Barry Goldwater, one of the most extreme right-wing politicians on the Republican side in the 1960s, said, be aware of the religious right. He said that in the 1960s, far before, these years came, and he foreseen the destruction of this country. He foreseen it. Everyone who was a Republican or Democrat seen the destruction of this country. And like even in the 80s, Ronald Reagan, regardless of what you think of him, I don't hold him high on the pedestal either. However, though, he said to a lot of Americans, be aware of political correctness because it's going to ruin this country. He's right. He was right. Look how far political correctness has come. I mean, for Christ's sake, you can't say this. You can't say that. You can't do this. You can't do that, or else you're politically incorrect, and or you're a racist or a sexist or a rape apologist or a misogynist. You get my point. You're labeled things that you aren't because of this whole political correctness gone wild. And this country needs to go back to a democracy. If someone doesn't like what you say, tough shit. Tough shit. Guess what? It's a democracy, this country, or it's supposed to be. And in a democracy, you can say what you want without being told, you can't say this. You can't do that. Of course, there's laws we have to follow. I'm not saying that we should have a complete liberal free democracy where there's no laws or no consequences to bad actions. Of course, there should be laws that, are in play, but we shouldn't have laws that are so strict that people are afraid to say or do things. And this is why I can't support either Hillary or Trump, because Hillary is a bureaucrat, and Trump is a plutocrat. And both of them are scary, and both of them I can't trust. And that's the reason why I can't support either of them. Because they're both on a bad scale of America's fate. A bureaucracy makes bad trades with other countries, and a plutocracy ruins a country. I mean, the writing's on the wall. The math is clear on the wall. If you can't see it, look at the math real hard. Look at the stories that's coming out about Hillary and Trump. you'll see how they're not that much different. See ya.